I bought Valero this morning. Number one, I did a video a couple of days ago on why I thought now was the time to buy the oil stocks, the gasoline stocks. And I did a study of four companies: Exxon, Chevron, Valero, and Holly Frontier. And from that study, and that study is available to you if you want to go to bestofusinvestors.com, and I'll forward that to you. And I came to the conclusion that I wanted to buy into the oil stocks. Now, what prompted me to do it this morning was Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer did a little piece basically saying that oil stocks were dead and it was a no trade. Don't get involved in it. As he said, it's a consumption-driven product, and we aren't consuming the gasoline as we normally would, as I said was true in the video I did. And then he alluded to the destruction that Russia and Saudi Arabia were doing to the oil prices. And he said it's just a non-trade. Stay away from it. Well, I like Jim Cramer. I think he's straightforward, he's honest, he tells you what he believes, and in this case I think he's wrong. So I wanted to take advantage of it, and as a result, I guess in part by what Jim said, Valero went down this morning, and I jumped in. Why? Because there are three elements of the oil companies. There's upstream, there's downstream, and there's midstream. The upstream of the oil companies are the drillers, the people who go into the ground, extract the oil, and put it out for sale. Now, that industry has been destroyed as a result of what Russia and Saudi Arabia are doing, particularly the shale industry here in the United States. That's the upstream. If you think of it, the oil's coming up. And so the biggest player in that, and actually they're in the midstream, that I reviewed is Exxon and Chevron. So ExxonMobil and Chevron are what they call midstream. They're both taking it out of the ground and they're distributing it. So I'm comfortable with Valero. I think that as I look at it, I think Jim lives in a different world. Obviously he does than me. When this all is past and I get back to driving my car normally, I'm going to be consuming gas. I'm not going to be traveling internationally because I'm going to be reluctant to get on an airplane. I'm not going to be going on cruises because I'm not going to get in a beer can with 6,000 people anytime soon. But I will be driving to the beach, or I might be driving to the mountains, or I might be driving to New York City. I'm going to be using my car, and I think I'm the real world. I think we are going to become less interested in traveling abroad in ships in the future, and we're going to use more gasoline. Now, eventually, electric automobiles are going to enter into it, but that's down the road quite a pace. So I'm happy with my purchase of Valero, and I think it's going to pay me big dividends. It does. It pays a 9% dividend, as well as I think it's going to go up in price. The other area I think we need to be looking at is that of storage. I read recently that we're producing 20% more oil per day than we can consume, and that's going up. That all the dry storage is basically filled up. That companies who have contracts that say we will take so much oil from you on a monthly basis are now going to the escape clause in their contract that says if situations are such that the oil consumption goes below such and such a point, our contract is null and void. So these companies are getting in a position they have nowhere to put this oil that they're pumping out of the ground. So again, being someone who's aware and saying, okay, what opportunity does that present? Well, there's some other storage they aren't looking at, and that's tankers. The normal cost of a tanker for a day is about $40,000. Since 2 Fridays ago, that has gone up to $120,000 a day. And it's estimated that if this continues, that will go up to $400,000 a day. Now, this is a short-term play because these tanker companies now are wising up, and they're going and getting some tankers that were dry docked, and they're getting them into the ports to take that oil, and their profits are going to skyrocket. Now, I haven't done any research on that yet. I just know that this is an opportunity, and as I said, when you're an investor, you need to pay attention, and that's what I'm doing here. Now, if you would like, if you didn't get this study that I did, go to bestofusinvestors.com and enter your name and your email address, and I'll send you this study. But I think the two on here that you need to be looking at are Valero and Holly Frontier. Now, I'm also going to, once you get on that, I'm going to share with those people who are on that list the information I'm able to gather about this storage play. Again, it's going to be a short-term play because eventually either the Russians or the Saudi Arabians are saying, we've got enough. We're not going to kill ourselves any further. But at that point, the storage issue will become null and void probably after about 60 days. But I think we got a real play here. Let me do some research on it. You sign up for Best of Us Investors, and I'll get you the information as I get it. But I bought Valero today.